Hello there, and welcome to week one of the 6-week challenge presentations. These quick 10-minute videos are basically based on the report that I've written that's in your resources pages, and these are based on the X factors behind body transformation. So for the first one, we're going to be talking about goal setting and finding your why. So be sure to read that report, just so you can relate and understand more through these videos what I'm talking about in this report. So without further ado, here we go. Here's the first slide. Now we're going to talk about goal setting, obviously. Now, if you haven't heard about SMART goals before, we'll just quickly talk to you about them, but we're going to add that little bit of extra with the why of SMART goals, okay? And that's what's going to provide the motivation behind SMART goals. Rather than just having that SMART goal, we need to add a motivating factor behind it. So, but just quickly, I don't want to talk too long about these sort of things. There's a lot of people are familiar with these techniques. However, what we need when we create our goal is something specific in our goal. Okay, so something specific means when you write a goal, it has to be like, let's say if you're wanting to lose weight, okay, and you're 100 kilos, you're wanting to be, you want to lose 30 kilos. So something specific has to be, I am 70 kilos, and that's a specific number. So a lot of people just go in, into the gym or wherever it is when they want to lose weight, and they just say they want to lose weight. But we need to be specific. Just like a business. At the end of the day, a business doesn't go in just to make money. Very rarely do they go in, like big businesses go in and say, oh yeah, we just want to make money. Generally they've got a specific goal at the end of the financial year. So it's the same with our bodies. At the end of the day, we need to be specific. So it might be a number, it might be a fitness goal. So you're wanting to run 5 kilometers that you've never been able to do before. But at least that leads us on to the next part, which is measurable. So that allows us to be able to measure if we're getting towards that goal. So if obviously you just say, you want to lose weight, well then you can obviously measure whether you're losing weight. But at least we're a little bit more focused and targeted, and we can measure that along the way. So if we use that example of a 100 kilo person, we can say, all right, over 6 weeks, we want to lose the first 10 kilos. So that's actually measurable. Alright, then the next part is achievable. Let's say we base this on 6 weeks. Okay, our goal has to be achievable, as in, like, to be honest, you'll never lose 50 kilos in 6 weeks. It's pretty rare, I'd say. So it has to be something achievable. So even though I've used the example of a 100 kilo person, let's say something achievable may be, in 6 weeks, 1 to 2 kilos a week is definitely achievable. Can be potentially 12 kilos of weight loss. It's something, definitely set your sights high, but it has to be still achievable. Okay. The next part is responsible. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in my further presentations about responsibility in the personal development model. Okay, responsibility is understanding that you are responsible for your goals, and you can't let anything or any situation get in the way of you achieving those goals. Okay, or any person for that matter, stopping you from achieving that goals. You have to take responsibility for your goals. Okay, the next part is the timed. Okay, having your goal being timed. Now this just allows us to have a little bit more urgency behind these goals. So for instance, if you want to, throughout these 6 weeks, if 6 weeks is your time, then have a specific date. Okay, have a specific date attached to when you want to achieve your specific goal. Okay. It needs to be a specific date as well. Okay, don't just put a range in there, saying like February 2014. Have a specific date for the goal. Okay, all right. The next part, obviously, and this is the most important part, which is why I'm devoting a little bit more time in this next slide, and that is your why. That's why it becomes a SMARTY goal. It's your reasons why you're doing things. Okay. So this is what will provide us the motivation. Okay, so let's say that the SMART part is the logical part. Okay, that's the part that's that anyone can write a SMART goal, but what's going to allow you to achieve that goal is your why. Okay, it's your actual why you're doing things. Now let's just delve into why a little bit more. ultimately, why do you do things? Now, let's understand that us as humans, we do things for ultimately two reasons, and they're two feelings. They're two ultimate feelings, and that is to avoid a certain pain, all right, and then the other one is to gain a certain pleasure. Okay. Now, understanding this, that they're not opposites. So everything we do in life can be attributed back to avoiding some sort of pain or and gaining some sort of pleasure. Okay, now I can use the example of body goals or body transformation goals, but what I'll do is I'll use another example in life, such as building a business. A lot of people are so scared of building a business. But you got to understand that a lot of the people that are successful in business understand their why of doing things, and that's generally to avoid the pain of having to, of working a rubbish job which they don't like, But at the same time, they start a business to gain the pleasure of having freedom or gain the pleasure of having more money in their life. Okay, so back to that goal of body transformation or getting a goal, it's either to avoid the pain of being overweight or avoid the pain of having heart disease or things like that, but at the same time it's to gain the pleasure of looking slimmer, feeling healthier, being able to play with the kids, being able to fit in a dress, being able to attract the opposite sex. Okay, now the thing is though, a lot of people do understand their why on a top level, but the problem is that's too generalistic. Okay, so we need to understand, you need to sort of specify something a little bit more specific to you and your goals. Okay, so I already mentioned a few examples of why someone might enter this challenge, the challenge basically, and that's to lose weight, get fit, be healthy. Great, they're great, generalistic goals that everyone wants to do. Everyone wants to get healthy. Everyone wants to be fit. Everyone looks leaner. That's just general. So an ultimate why has to be something more specific to you. So for example, okay, let's use the example of females for now. A lot of females would like to, let's say, fit in a dress that they wanted to fit in a long time ago, just to make them feel a little bit better. So that specific why might be to fit in that size 8 dress that they were able to fit in 2 years ago, which will ultimately allow them to, feel better with themselves, feel better with them, with their partner, feel better when they look, go out and about. Okay, one of the strong reasons for not just females, males, I guess as well, is the example of being able to play with your kids or grandkids for the rest of your lives. A lot of people are so overweight or just don't have that general fitness to be able to play with kids or keep up with kids. So that's a really strong motivator, something specific to you. Okay, so remember when you're writing the why. When you're writing the why in your SMARTY goal, okay, have something specific to you. So if it's to get fit, be healthy and lose weight, make sure you attach some moving towards motivator. So it's to get fit, be healthy, lose weight, so that I can fit in that size 8 dress and also be able to play with my kids and grandkids for the rest of my life. Okay, and that's all of a sudden starts providing a little bit more a motivating reason why you want to achieve these goals of yours. All right. Okay, so once again, read the report. It has a little bit more insight. There's good examples in there. And when you start writing your goal, making sure, don't neglect the why. Okay, the why is everything. All right, the why is the understanding that you do everything to avoid a pain and to gain a pleasure, but it needs to be specific to you and not to the general consensus. Okay. So let's just move on now, and we're going to talk a little bit about advanced goal setting. Okay, now advanced goal setting is something that it's important to write a SMARTY goal. Okay, but it's also important to understand the power of visualization. Okay, now let's just talk a little bit about visualization. I've got this great little picture there, as you can see, the cat's looking into the mirror and seeing that line in them. Okay, let me just explain to you a little bit what that's about. Okay, now the mind doesn't unless you allow it to, the mind doesn't know how to differentiate between what you can create with the mind and what reality is. Okay, so let me give you the example of of someone who's who's wanting to become an athlete and all that sort of stuff, you know, they may not be at their best right now, you know what, but they can certainly start to visualize what it would be like when they're at their best. All right, visualize when they've won that race. Visualize, you know, when they've got that gold medal. Visualize when they've, you know, they've got all that crowd around and supporting them and helping them out. It's all visualization. So even though it's not happening now, it certainly can be created throughout your mind. Now that's what's known as the mind's eye. Okay, the mind's eye can create something which then can be followed on and taken action upon, which will drive you a lot more towards the success of getting your goals. Okay, so and I guess that leads on to, you know, starting to understand the athlete's psychology. Okay, the athlete's psychology is that, you know, you've already won the race. So be in present tense. So that's something that I should have mentioned back when you're writing your goal. You should be writing your goal in present tense, so as if you've already achieved it. Now a lot of people will tell me, you know, that's crazy. You know, I haven't achieved it, so why would I write? Why don't I write it in the future tense? Like, you know, I have achieved this. I have, you know, I have achieved that. No, you've got to write it and you've got to think about it as if you've already achieved it. So when you're writing the goal, it's like, you know, it is the 10th of February 2014, and I am 70 kilos and I'm being able to play with my kids and I'm feeling a lot happier, and you're writing as if you've already achieved it. Now, not only when you're writing it or reading it to yourself, you've got to remember to have that athlete psychology so that you've already won the race. Okay, so I'll just use the example of an athlete. Let's say at 100-meter sprint. Okay, do you think that athlete's sitting there, if they know about this psychology, do you think that athlete's sitting at the start line thinking, I'm going, you know what, I'm going to win this race, I'm going to win this race, I'm going, you know what, most likely they are, but the real champions, the athletes that understand psychology are going through in their mind, you know what, I've won this race, this race is won. Okay, so that way it just provides a little bit more impetus to get you, you know, getting you towards that goal. So understanding visualization and using your mind to your own benefit, rather than saying, oh, this is crazy, why would I visualize, you know, something that isn't you know, the current time or isn't the current day, so why would I visualize that? It's just setting myself up for failure or something along those lines. Not, you know, you're better off using your mind to its advantage and using that mind's eye to your advantage rather than using it to your disadvantage. Okay, so I guess that leads to, you know, create that vision. Start creating that vision. All right, and that may be through creating a vision board. So get an A4 piece of paper, or get an A3 piece of paper, or get a frame, and start collecting pictures of what you want to look like, or what you want to do, or what you want to be with your new body, what you want to have. Okay, so, and every day you're going to look at that vision board and just start visualizing yourself in that position and visualizing yourself as having won the race. Okay, going forward, we'll also, you know, I'll explain to you a little bit about a letter from the future. All right, so that's writing a letter based on what it's like. You know, based on what it's like when you have that body, okay, and that just starts getting that creative juices flowing, getting that mind's eye going. All right, so understanding that, you know, creating the vision is not just doing it in your mind, but starting to make it real by creating vision boards and writing letters. And it really doesn't take that long. It can take up to 10 minutes. And come on, it doesn't, you know, to start getting that visualization going. It's really not a hard task to do, but a lot of people start, you know, making it too hard. So, you know, I'd start with just number one, creating a vision board, and number two, I'll explain to you further in the lessons on how to just create a bit of a letter from the future. Okay. So coming to the end of this presentation, it's about setting the plan for week one. Okay, so setting the plan. What do you have to do? Well, you have to set the SMARTY goal. All right, you understand a little bit about SMARTY goals. Read the article that I've attached just underneath the video, and that explains a little bit more about SMARTY goals. It has goal cards attached to it, so you can print them out and write on them and put them in your wallet, so they're there with you all the time. Generally, you've got to read them in the morning, in the night, or anytime you really need to. Anytime you feel like a bit of a slump, start reading the goal and visualizing again. It'll help you get back on track. Okay, they're really powerful little tools, just visualization, having that SMARTY goal. Okay, the next part is create 2 milestones and a small reward for yourself. Now in the report there'll be a small section there on milestones, okay, because this is we're talking over a 6-week period. Let's just create 2 more. So you've got your start goal, all right, you've got your, let's say after 3 weeks, what would you like to be in terms of losing weight, or is it a fitness goal, like say it's 5 kilometers you want to run? Is it that you want to in 3 weeks you want to be able to run 2.5 kilometers? Okay, and then once you've hit that milestone, right, have a reward there. Get a massage, read buy yourself a book, whatever it is, something small that once again, that's having a reward there is driving you towards that pleasure of getting that goal. Okay, so setting it out, all it is setting the goal from the start, setting out a bit of a plan, all right, which is the next part, right? So set your exercise and eating plan. In this 6-week challenge, you've got some great resources there which you can set the whole 6 weeks out there of your exercise and your eating. So write it out what you're going to do every day for the next 6 weeks, based on whether it's weights training or whether it's a cardio exercise, or whether it's a home training plan. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Write it out for the next 6 weeks, and it doesn't matter if you don't actually over the next 6 weeks you don't stick to it 100%. It's just important that you plan. Okay, those who don't plan, I believe, plan to fail. So, or plan to not get their goals. Let's say, because so it's just important to set your exercise and eating plan. Definitely use the resources in that resources pages to help you set that exercise and eating plan. Okay. I guess the next step obviously is take massive action. The problem is a lot of people, plan it, set their SMARTY goals, set their visualization, set their milestones, but the hardest thing is to take massive action. So even if it's just a walk around the block 2-3 times a week, take massive action, because that's what it's all about. Not having all this knowledge, once again, is useless, and like in the report says, there's a great saying out there saying knowledge is power. How wrong that is, because so many people know so much stuff. However, not many people apply what they know. So, knowledge only becomes power once applied. So take massive action. All right. And you know what? When you don't want to take massive action, well, you know what? That's when you start to use the tools that I've just explained to you in this presentation, in those reports. To start using the tools of visualization, reading your goal, and always remember your why for doing it. Better off remembering your pleasurable why. So rather than thinking about avoiding the pain of being overweight and avoiding the pain of having heart disease or having pains, start always remembering your why for doing it in a pleasurable way. So is it whether it's to fit in that dress, or whether it's to to attract the opposite sex, or whether it's to feel better in bed with your partner, whatever it is, it's just remembering your why for doing things. So once again, remember that to take massive action. Don't ever neglect your why. Always remember why you're doing these things. Okay. All right. I hope that helps. And we'll. I look forward to helping in the next presentation. But other than that, have a great day.